In today's podcast, we're going to talk about 5 obscure and under-discussed wellness topics and tips that I think can really help your health span and your longevity and anti-aging. Please be sure to like and subscribe. On that note, let's get right into it. So, in my list of 5, the first one here is green tea. Now, truly, green tea is very helpful in terms of mitochondrial function and detoxification and benefits for the brain. And there's just so much good, so many antioxidants and so much good in green tea. But also, you'll find similar benefits in black tea and a lot of other teas as well. So, green tea is usually the one that's studied, but other teas also do pretty well. Now, if you don't necessarily like green tea, or if it's just a hassle in your day to get in, the other thing you can do is simply order green tea capsules. Where this is something that I do personally is I'll just take the capsules throughout the day, and this way I can make up for the green tea that I don't necessarily want to take time to slow down my day and drink. And keep in mind that most people need at least 6 cups per day to really make any kind of noticeable difference in their health. Okay, so that said, now let's move on to EMFs and RFs. Now, this can take a while to explain. Basically, EMFs are electromagnetic fields, RFs are radio frequencies. Long story short, these are coming from everything from cell phone towers to your cell phone itself, to your Wi-Fi and router, Alexa, or any kind of Bluetooth or anything that you have going on in the home or that's going on outside of you. In many cases, even your neighbors can be emitting all kinds of EMF and RF frequencies that are ultimately harming you and your family. So these are things that you either want to cut down on, meaning you, like in my case, I do block my phone. This case is an EMF blocking case, or we don't use Wi-Fi in my home. I actually use Ethernet. Or you can try to avoid things like Bluetooth, etc. The other thing is that you can use these devices and simply have some kind of a shield, much like the phone case is here, have a shield. Now, I'll talk with you more about what kind of shields you can find for EMFs and RFs. For one, I use something on my windows that actually is transparent, but it just goes right on top of the window so that you don't see it at all. It's completely transparent, but it does block any incoming EMFs and RFs from cell phone towers and from neighbors or anything outdoors. The other thing you can do, and a lot of people are doing this, it's like a canopy that goes around your bed so that when you're sleeping at night, you're not getting anything coming in. It completely blocks the EMFs and the RFs as well. And so there's lots of other modalities. There's clothes and hats and things that can also be really helpful. But I would say go down that rabbit hole next, and that's try to figure out how you can cut down on or block EMFs and RFs. Just please keep in mind that low frequency EMFs cannot be blocked. You have to just be about 6 feet or so away from them. All right, that said, now let's talk about PEMF, totally different, and grounding. Now, I had a podcast on this recently where I spoke about grounding and about how when your bare skin is touching the earth, you're absorbing the earth's electromagnetic fields, and these have been shown to do things like lower blood pressure and improve cognitive health and reduce inflammation. And there's all kinds of great benefits that have been clinically studied. That said, you can't be outside for the bulk of the day. So we have a biohack. You can simply use PEMF therapy. And this comes in all kinds of different ways. For me personally, my pillow, my sheets, my blankets are all PEMF. They all plug into the grounding in the wall. So I'm actually getting grounding inside my home the entire night that I'm sleeping. I have links to all of that in the description. So in case you want to order these from Amazon today, you can do that and get these out to your house by tomorrow or so. So that's one way to go is the PEMF for when you're indoors. Another thing you can do with PEMF is get, and I'll give you a link to these too, but these PEMF pads. And these are really great because I'll put them on my bare feet are on top of one. And if you're going to be at a computer like this, you can put one by the computer and rest your forearm on it. And basically, anytime your skin is touching a PEMF pad or PEMF sheet or pillow or whatever, either way, you're going to be getting those electromagnetic fields into your body. So it should be just about as healing as actually being outdoors and grounding. And again, lots of studies show how beneficial that is. I particularly recommend this one because even though it's not always terribly effective, you don't always see great results from it. It's completely easy to do, and it costs you virtually nothing. So, these devices I'm recommending, these last a really long time. And of course, the earth is free. So it's not something that you have to put time into because you can be doing other things with them. And again, they don't really cost anything. So now let's move on to strength training and exercise science. Now, I know you're probably thinking this isn't very obscure. Well, the concept of strength training certainly is not obscure. But strength training properly is very unlikely. Most people do not do it. Now, when I say properly, I don't mean good form, and I don't just mean total body. Those two things are important, but they're just barely scratching the surface of what you're going to need for successful anti-aging and health span and longevity. So what I'm going to suggest here is that you don't just have a strength training program. Don't just go to a bar class or something and call it good. You want progressive, clinically personalized strength training. I cannot say this enough. Invest in a coach. It is critical that you figure out the intensities and the duration and the frequency and the rest periods and also the nutrition that goes along with it, frankly, to get your strength training to be really appropriate. So I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it's more than worth it. I've said in many other podcasts that a true panacea for the body to protect your bones, your brain, your heart, your joints, your blood vessels, and certainly your metabolism and your muscles all really comes down to having the right strength training program. People who do it well get tremendous health benefits. People who do it not so well, which is most people engaging in strength training, of course, get very few health benefits. So I really strongly recommend you find out what you need to be doing and how to properly progress each week, and even when to know when to regress. So I highly suggest get a good coach to make sure that they can get you started on a health program and a strength program that's going to benefit your health. All right, I've got one last one for you. This one really is obscure, and this is NLP or other forms of psychological programming. So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It doesn't have to be that modality or any of the submodalities underneath it, but you want to do something to improve your self-talk and your ability to take initiative on positive behaviors and also to take initiative against negative behaviors. We tend to program ourselves and to accept programming that tells us that, procrastinating is kind of fun and hey, you only live once. And, we tend to get these messages into our frame of mind that basically suggest that being sort of lazy is okay and hey, don't work out so much. And this kind of casual mentality is very destructive. We have to keep in mind that we've got cancer as the number 2 killer in the United States and throughout much of the world, and it's on the rise. And heart disease is the number 1 killer, and both of these are generally preventable with the right lifestyle and the right environment. But none of that matters if you don't have your brain really wired right. And so I suggest NLP therapy. I suggest things like incantations, for example. Incantations I like because they're so easy. You can do them from anywhere. They cost you no money. And it's just simply you repeating to yourself and actually speaking out loud this process of what you want to change in your behaviors. So if you want to exercise more, you'll start to tell yourself, exercise is a positive thing for my body. I enjoy it. I feel good about it. And you'll repeat either that same phrase or a very similar phrase repeatedly. You just keep saying it to yourself. And that sounds kind of funny. Sounds a bit like pseudoscience, I suppose. But the truth is that process of hearing yourself say it and your brain getting you to speak it, to say those words over and over again, you're hearing it, you're saying it, you're triggering those words, and there's an emotional quality that happens as a result. That when you say it enough, you start to make it true. And I'll tell you, this has worked for a lot of my clients who have applied these kind of things. Incantations and other forms of NLP therapy can be really effective if you go in with the right attitude and you really believe in them, and if you truly want to make sustainable long-term change. So anyway, that's all I've got for today, everybody. Again, my name is Val Fiott. I'm a life coach, health coach, online personal trainer, medical fitness coach, all kinds of things. I'm here to help. If you need my help, you can reach out to me down below in the description. I've got all my information and my website as well. We can also get you set up with an in-home personal trainer in a lot of parts of the country here in the US. So let me know if you'd like to get set up with one of our people that way. Either way, I'm looking forward to the next podcast and to your health and wellness success.